What's up, guys and gals? So, if you ever have one of those crazy days, my day just hopefully finally ended smoothly, but it's been pretty rough. So it's fresh in my mind. So I might as well just get it off my chest. So, car problems. I have a Honda. Japanese cars are great, and my bearings are were going bad for a few weeks, more than a few weeks. I was hearing some noise. And I thought it was my tires. So I had my tires changed, and upon getting my tires changed, I was told by the guy, one of the guys that changed my tires, got some new tires, that my bearings are probably bad. So it's happened on the weekend, and I wanted to get it done as quickly as possible. So on Sunday, this past Sunday, I started going on Yelp, and I noticed, I don't know if you have this in your area, but there's a lot more services for mechanics in which uh, it's called mobile service. They basically come to your house. Now, they can't do everything at your house, but it is a very convenient and sounds like a good business model. So I was looking around, and I called this one guy, and this was on Sunday, and he said, "Oh, it was a good chance that I could do it on Sunday today." I was like, "Great!" So he looked around, and he said that with the bearing, I mean, to bore you guys that are not into cars, but essentially, he has to go to the shop, and he has to, like, once he takes it out and removes it, they have to have a special machine, and they put it back in and they compress it. I'm not that, I don't know that much about bearings. I do a little bit of car work. I usually stop at the rotor, but anyway, nonetheless, they charge like a big fee for that. And he has a semi hookup because he's a mechanic, and he said that that would be too much for me to pay. So he would do it Monday instead, and the charge would be less, and that would go towards the labor and then the part. So I was like, it was quite a bit of a difference. Now, if it was only like a $20 difference, I would have just said, forget it, just get it done on Sunday. Who cares? Anyway, it was a big price difference, like I said. So I said, you know what, just do it Monday. So Monday morning, I go to work. I tell him, just text me when you arrive and you get done. He's supposed to be there at 10 a.m. And then he had a real hard time finding the part. That's out of his control, but he was definitely trying. He eventually found it, and then I think he got started working on Monday morning around like 11:30. Took everything apart and took the part to the shop. Came back, and he finished around like 2:30. I was still at work. I said, okay, well, I'll be back at like 4 o'clock. Can you just, sit tight? He went to another job, and then he came back. I test drove it, and everything seemed good. It was like there was like this humming noise. For people that are car enthusiasts or know a little bit about cars, when you have a bad bearing, it makes like this, not really a clicking sound, but like a kind of sounds like you have a bad tire. Anyway, I tested it. I went around a few blocks. I drove it to about 45 miles an hour. Luckily, I didn't go on the freeway for reasons I'm going to mention in a second. And it was good, And after that, that was on Monday. And then Tuesday, which is today, I'm probably gonna get this video out on Wednesday or Thursday. Today is Tuesday, but Tuesday morning I went to work and had no problems. And then I clocked into work, and then I had to go back home and pick up my daughter and take her to daycare. Upon coming back, I was hearing this clunky metal sound, and it sounded very subtle at first. I wasn't sure. I rolled down my windows, and then I could hear it clunking a little bit. Luckily, I was close to being home. Then I finally get home, and I message the guy, and I say, hey, there's a clunking noise. And then in my head, I was like, hopefully this guy will call me back. Now, my car, I park it in the driveway on the incline, and I know that for safety reasons, it's usually better just to park the car on the street, which is where he did the work. So I decided to try to expedite time because, I'm busy. I got to go back to work. So as I'm going at a park in reverse, it's an automatic, I start reversing my car to try to get it back on the street, which is literally just boop, boop. It's really fast. And I hear a big old clunk. It's like clunk, clunk, clunk. And it almost sounds like a metal object of something is just like falling, and I immediately put it in park. I tried it one more time slowly, and still it was clunky, and I'm like, geez, this sounds worse than when I was driving. I put it in park, boom. I messaged him. It was like 7:30 in the morning. He wasn't responding for a few hours. And I was like, I gotta at least take a look. I do a little bit of car work, propped up, took the wheel off. I looked closely, did a visual inspection. Should have done maybe a more of a visual inspection. I just tried to see if anything was loose or anything, and I couldn't see anything visually. Now, I didn't look at it that thoroughly because what I'm about to say coming up, if you made it this far, is going to be just perplexing. Anyway, I didn't see nothing. I was like, there's nothing that's fallen, you know. There's something called a dust shield that's behind the rotor, and he was fiddling with that yesterday, but I don't think that would make that type of noise. So I'm sitting there, my car's just propped up in the driveway. I'm waiting on him, and in my mind, I'm like, this guy might just have done a hit and run, meaning financial hit and run, do a job and then never be heard from again, because you got to remember it's a mobile. It's not actually at a shop. They travel along. They travel to your destination. They don't have a shop, so it's possible that they could just do a job and then leave. I've had that happen once regarding something else, but that was a possibility in my mind. So it was game time, or it was a decision time, that what I have to do. So I'm like, man, I need to go to this other place that's like 2 blocks from my house. That's where I usually go, and I was gonna go, but I was already talking to the guy, and I thought that would be fine. So I was like, I need to try to get there. So I did one last ditch effort. I put my car in reverse, and I was like, maybe I can just make it slowly with my emergency blinkers. Maybe I can make it to the auto shop and have the other guy diagnose it. No success. It was clunking again like crazy. So I was like, forget it. It's too dangerous. So upon doing that, I was like, I need to get it towed to the new mechanic 2 blocks down. Luckily, I have AAA. Called them. It took a while. While I'm calling them, eventually the AAA tow truck, it tells me, I get a text message saying it's en route and it's about an hour away or something. As that's occurring, the first mechanic that didn't do a good job, he messaged me back and he says, I'll take a look. At that point, I had to make a decision. The AAA guy was already en route. I had already spoken to the new mechanic saying that I'm going to have to tow it, be on the way. And my gut feeling was telling me that at this point, I don't want to cancel the AAA, and I'm not sure if I trust the first mechanic. So I told him, or I messaged him, and I said, you know what, I'm going to get a second opinion and just hold off. Don't come yet. He's like, okay. I get to the new mechanic. I talk to the new mechanic, and I tell him the symptoms, and he says he's really busy. So I just gave him the keys, and then I went back to work with my wife's car. Luckily, she worked from home today. I didn't have to get a car rental. I know it's a long video, but I just have to get it out of my system. Go to work. I wait, and the new mechanic calls me back, and he says, or before that, I'm talking to my other coworkers because they're in the cars too. I was like, what could it be? Is it is it the ball joint? Is it going to be the rotor? Could it be this? Could it be that? And something more complicated. You would think it would be, because it's like I had one problem, that original sound went away, but then now a clunking noise. So it's like replacing one problem with another, or fixing one problem and getting another problem. Doesn't help me. The new mechanic calls me at around 2:30. I'm still at work, and he says the caliper bolt is like missing, and it wasn't even screwed on tightly. Now, for people that don't know much about cars, when you put like these bolts, you put them in, they're pretty big. When you put it in, you need to torque it to spec, meaning there's a certain amount of torque of foot-pounds that you need to do. The mechanic took a picture of it. The screw, maybe I can show you a picture. It wasn't, I'll just put a picture. It wasn't even, it looked like it wasn't even it looked like it was just put in like this, turned one time, and that's it. This guy was rushing so fast. Like, it's totally, and I know mistakes happen, but this is totally inexcusable. Like, you do a full bearing job, that's complicated. There's a lot of things you got to do. So he does the easy stuff, but he overlooks the simple parts. I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming. Okay. He's sorry, it's my daughter. Yeah, he just overlooks the simplest thing, and like that could have endangered my life. Like that thing goes out when you're driving, you can lose control of your brakes, and it could be fatal. I'm trying to be dramatic, but it's true. So in a weird way, I'm kind of glad it was very blatant, because had the screw been maybe semi tight and I started I had a false sense of security. If that happened and I had my daughter in the car, let's say in a couple of weeks, it could have been catastrophic on the freeway. Luckily, I never drove on the freeway with after the job was done. I just put things into perspective. So after all that, um, I asked the guy, you want to be reasonable, and I said, hey, can I get some compensation for this? And he recouped me, you know, $150, but that $150 is what costed me is what cost to go to the new mechanic. So it's like even Steven on with that, and at that point it's like I'm not gonna ask for any more. Like I'm just done. Um, he did give me some refund, which is good. He wasn't very that apologetic with it. He was kind of matter of fact, but to me it's just very sloppy work, and I'm not happy with it, and it was just a real pain in the ass. I'm just glad it's over. I'm about to eat. My daughter's calling me. We're about to eat dinner, and it's just, you know. But I will say, you know, that in conclusion, the old me, the old James, the old sanitary would have been more pissed off. I'm just kind of annoyed, but I do count my blessings. I know that it could have been way worse. I could have gotten in a car accident. I could have hurt myself, kill someone else. I don't like I said, I want to be dramatic, but I mean, this is talking about your wheel. Like you cannot. This is not like you don't. This is not like you forgot to put windshield wiper fluid, or you didn't change your air filter, or this is like could be catastrophic. It's just very perplexing that he would have done that, and I have this hunch that he had a helper, and I think it was like an apprentice, and he was really young. I don't know if that was his younger brother or something. I get this feeling that he delegated some of the job to this kid, and without monitoring it, I get this feeling because I have a hard time believing that this mechanic, he seems pretty knowledgeable, that he would overlook something like this. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys have some horror stories. My coworker did have one regarding a tire, and the lug nuts were not even on tight. It's to me, it's inexcusable. Like I said, got my money back. I'm safe. Um, that's just all I could say. So I'm gonna eat dinner. I just want to have a safe car, and it's a learning experience. But I never thought in a million years that I'd have to remind a mechanic to make sure the bolts that you put on that you need to put back on are not only spec but are screwed on tightly. That's my time. That's my time. Excuse me. Thanks for watching. Any horror stories that you want to talk about, let me know regarding if it's car or something else. I'll talk to you later. Bye.